The world of memes is a complex and oftentimes bewildering landscape to navigate. To the outsider, it's an ever-expanding language of seemingly nonsensical words and images. But to the insider, the symbols of this world are powerful tools of communication, often subject to controversy, transformative meanings, and varying durations of popularity. However, since Twitch's launch in 2011, one emote has become the trademark of sarcasm and continues to thrive atop the platform's throne. That's right, we're finally doing it. We're tackling the gray face, no space.
Josh, we can't meme on people when trying to explain a meme.
Listen, you can't tell me what the fuck to do. We're doing Kappa.
Hey, Kappa! Kappa? Cappuccino? That makes me hyper. What's a Kappa?
The seemingly smug, desaturated face you're seeing right now is that of former Twitch developer Josh Danesi. Back in 2009, he was hired to work on the chat client for what would eventually become Twitch TV. And like many of his co-workers, Danesi decided to insert his employee photo as an Easter egg, which would appear when a specific word was typed. He chose the command Kappa based on his love of Japanese mythology. The Japanese yokai are a collection of various demons or monsters, and the Kappa is a kind of strange water imp, complete with beak, shell, and a dish on its head that holds water. On an average day, the Kappa enjoys fine activities like eating cucumbers, engaging in some sumo wrestling, or pulling people's souls out of their butts. I'm not joking. According to Danesi, once his face was initially discovered, it was used as a kind of generic punny replacement for parts of other words, like Kappa-licious. But over time, the emote and its command became synonymous with sarcasm. And given Kappa's ceaseless popularity, I wanted to talk to an expert about how this type of phenomenon emerges and develops. Yes, I had to seek out a meme overlord, one even greater than I.
That's impossible!
My quest for memetic enlightenment would see me venture to the University of Toronto and a quiet office where I'd meet Dr. Marcel Danesi, a semiotician with over 40 years of experience in his field.
It's a bizarre world in which we live. I'm sorry to put it that way. It is bizarre, but I'll tell you as well, it's extremely interesting.
Professor Danesi wrote an entire book about emoji and has another coming out next year called From Popular Culture to Meme Culture. In the case of emoji, many of those symbols had obvious pre-existing meaning. But I asked Professor Danesi if there were any cases he could think of where a near meaningless set of symbols was simply handed over to users.
Not in this way, but if you look at all kinds of symbols from the beginning of time, they have and bear meaning in a context, in fact, even magical meaning. And emotes are still signs, symbols of a certain type that accrue meanings through usage. And through the participation of the users of these symbols, adding to them, developing a kind of sui generis language that says an awful lot, again, to the insider rather than to the outsider. So it forms a code.
Think about the eggplant emoji. It's just a fucking eggplant, but over time, it has developed a secondary meaning. Just because it kinda looks like a
Pecker! Oh, where?
So what then was the early context for Kappa? Well, Twitch chat is a medium that viewers use to respond to streams. Danesi's face in the Kappa emote appeared perhaps slightly smug, and that was a visual cue for users. The meaning that Kappa did eventually accrue was one of sarcastic intent, but it took time for that to happen. Sometimes, like we did with our Paid by Steve video, it is possible to track this development, but other times it isn't. And Kappa is so old by Twitch standards that it's impossible to know for sure who first discovered it. But Professor Danesi points something else out as well. Many people using the emote may not even fully understand what they're doing.
As you see tribal symbols and rituals evolve, and you're an outsider, you look at them and say, what the heck is going on? If you're an insider, they bear meaning by virtue of the fact that they form a cohesive pastiche. Most of those people have no idea concretely what they mean. They've inherited this from the connotations that they have had over time. It's a kind of distributed meaning that we acquire not intentionally, but by osmosis. I don't know what better word to use.
The idea that people don't know the concrete meaning of a symbol is the reason we can do this series at all. You guys know something intuitively about the emotes that you use, but you click on our videos to confirm your understanding and seek a greater context. Over the course of history, mankind has attempted to create universal symbols for signifying the presence of irony or sarcasm via text, and those efforts have largely failed. But could Kappa finally solve this problem? While its use is currently limited to Twitch TV users, as the platform, streaming, and meme culture continues to grow in popularity, so too does Kappa's global presence. It transcends the boundaries of written language and has developed something of a cult following.
Hey Kappa, Kappa, hey Kappa, Kappa, hey, wieder mit dem Bot-System. Hey Kappa, Kappa, hey Kappa, Kappa, hey, all die Mods, die können gehen. Hey Kappa, Kappa, hey Kappa, Kappa, hey, alle schreien. Ja.
Kappa's rampant popularity has spawned a number of variations and even fanatics who revel in its use.
I'm not gonna ask you to sing me happy birthday, but everyone spam Kappa in the chat and let's get a nice loud Kappa. No, you guys. No. Let's try again.
I asked Professor Danesi how symbolic meaning is decided between groups and what factors come into play when determining it.
From tribal cultures to now, it's the quest for meaning. I don't know why. Hey, if I had the answer, I wouldn't be here talking to a YouTube channel.
Boom. Roasted.
Sorry, I love YouTube channels.
But what we can confirm is that Kappa is the biggest emote on Twitch, and that's unlikely to change anytime soon. And while Desenio wasn't even really with Twitch during the emote's rise to popularity, he has kept track of it on his personal website. Now living in Japan, he seems amused by it, suggesting that his face could possibly be the most digitally reproduced ever. For something that was added as a joke, it seems truly fitting that Kappa has come to symbolize just that.
Cut. Great job, man. I'm really happy with how this one turned out.
What can I say? I'm a one-man show.
Are you gonna throw a Kappa on the end of that, or?
No, I'm good.
Do you as somebody who studied these, have a favorite?
Oh, hell.
Saw the Velociraptor in one of your...
You know, I love Grumpy Cat. You know, I don't know why. I had a cat. In fact, again, for the first time, your question is making me think and make associations. It makes me laugh. At the same time, it makes me think and so on. And that, therefore, leads me to say right now that meme culture is an associative culture. It is not just concocted on the spot, which I thought it was, because it connected me to my previous experiences, which obviously are shared by many others. So in a way, that is, now that I think about it, it's probably my favorite meme.